William, if you're watching this now, then the flux capacitor worked. And I've traveled back in time to stop myself from sending that letter to the elementary school, and now you're able to graduate. Congratulations. Wait, what? You're just a dumb puppy and you can't time travel? Huh. I guess you graduated all by yourself. Mind blown.
Do something
You know
funny.
how much I love you?
Hey, put on a shirt. Hey, do something funny.
Oh, he said it.
One of my greatest memories of you is the fact that you used to wear bow ties with your polo shirts in elementary school. When everyone else was desperate to fit in, you were desperate to be your own man, to be your own person, to be your own kid.
Time that Will was in kindergarten and decided he was done and headed home, and had already walked out of the school before Tina thankfully had peeked in and noticed that he wasn't in the classroom. Apparently the teachers didn't notice.
Favorite Will stories. One was from many years ago when we were all in the family room at our house, and Will was in the living room, I think playing with his trains. And he came in and he tried to get his mom to go with him, and she was busy, and he tried to get his dad, and he was busy, and he tried to get me and Jaja, and we were busy. I don't know what we were all engaged in, but we weren't having any part of it. And so he threw himself on the floor and began to have one of his little tantrums. At which point Woodsy, who could not resist, reached down to comfort him. And he took hold of her finger and led her to the other room, not a tear in his eyes. And then he took her in the other room so she could watch him play trains.
Typical Will memory is that I bought him so many great toys and he never let me play with any of them.
My first one is from Halloween a few years ago. I remember this specifically because Will was Kamina from Gurren Lagann and I was Spike from Cowboy Bebop. And Will had really, really bad allergies that night. I don't remember why, but it was like the kind that he gets at the lake, even though we were at your house. It was awful. And so, like, that boy was tortured. That man was suffering. It was so funny. But we'd be downstairs because we were waiting for the group picture to be taken. You know, the one that we take every year. And so it was me and Will and Jackson downstairs, and Will kept running around looking for the tissues. And he was like, "Oh, it's coming. I'm about to snot." And it was so funny. It was the best. So in a line going up the stairs back inside, it's Aubrey in front of me, then me in front of Will, and then Will behind at the very end. And for whatever reason, Aubrey gets on like the second or third step, and she stops. And I don't know why, but she just like stops moving, doesn't say anything. And so I'm just like, what's happening here? Why aren't we going up? You know? And then I hear Will in the back, and he just screams, "What's the hold up? I'm about to snot!" And I lost it. It was the best. It was the best. It was so good. Oh, I love that man. I love that man. It's the best.
A lot of my really fond memories of Will are around trains. He absolutely loved trains, and he would play with them all the time, all day long. He really loved Thomas the Tank Engine, and he knew every train on that show and could play with it for hours. He had a birthday cake of Thomas the Tank Engine one year. One of my fondest memories was taking him with Woodsy and Carrie to see Thomas the Tank Engine and Spencer, and we actually got to ride in a red caboose. And I also fondly remember the year that he dressed up as a train conductor for Halloween, and we turned his stroller into a train that had a light on the front and even made a train noise on a loop. So he was just really cute about trains. He would even get excited when the train whistle, when he would hear the train whistle in Waxhaw, which happened a lot.
So my favorite memory of Will is one time when he was little, and I guess it was when I first started dating his granddad, and I guess he was around 3, and he crawled up in my lap and tucked his head up under my neck and, you know, just went right to sleep, and I just was so honored, and I just kind of melted, and from then on I thought, kid, anything you want, it's yours.
And Matt and Tina, your mom and dad, went on a cruise and left me with you at your place for a whole week. So every day we would play hard, and we would finish up, and around 7 or 7:30, this little face would look up to me and say, I'm sleepy now, I'm going to go to bed. And you did it every single night. I was astounded. What kind of child says it's bedtime? Love you.
I'll never forget when you guys were little and I lived with you over your garage. And your parents would send you to bed every night. What they failed to do was specify what bed. And you and Gabby would come scampering into my room, get in the bed with me, and I would dig out my bag of Hershey's caramel and chocolate swirled kisses, and we would eat the hell out of them. All the while, with you on one side and her on the other, we'd be watching marathons of Dora the Explorer and SpongeBob SquarePants. I'll never forget how gracious and sweet and kind you were, and that every time I went to the bathroom, you would pause it so that I wouldn't miss even one cell of those cartoons. And if I fell asleep, God forbid, you would wake me up and then rewind it.
Funny stories about Will. One of them might be when we told him that his turtle ran away. They really believed that was a thing that happened.
Jackson was freaking out because he was just like, fellas, we gotta watch this Shrek Halloween special. We gotta watch Scared Shrekless. And Jackson's like, we gotta put it on the Apple TV to watch Scared Shrekless. And I'm like, okay, all right. And Will's like, all right, I'll turn it on and we'll turn on the Apple TV. And so, Will's just like, oh, Jackson, don't worry about it. Don't you even worry about it. It's voice command. But really, it wasn't. It wasn't. But Jackson believed him anyway. And I knew it wasn't, because we'd been on the Apple TV earlier. And then Will, unbeknownst to Jackson, he showed me, but Will took the remote and he put it under his leg. And so he started pushing buttons on the remote. And so Jackson was like, okay, this time for real, play Scared Shrekless. Scared Shrekless. Like, he keep yelling it, and Will pressed a button on the remote, and it went to some baby kid show, and I started laughing, and so did Jackson. And I looked at Will, and Will had this smug grin on his face. He was
One time when you were a little boy, we were learning your colors, and we were pointing at them. What's this color? And what's this color? And I pointed at a red or whatever, and I said, okay, well, what's this color? And you kind of turned your head or whatever, and I said, well, just think about it. And you took another hesitation, and then you looked up at me and said, Mimi, what am I thinking about? I thought it was hysterical.
All right, a fabulous Will story. Here is a picture from the day the story occurred. Aw Shucks Corn Maze. It was just a few minutes after this, I had Ethan and Will and everybody else we were with take a hayride. Will did not want to take the hayride. I didn't really give him a lot of choice in the matter. Either right as the hayride's about to start or right as it ended, Will looks up to me and says, if I ever have a time machine and I can get back 15 minutes of my life, it's going to be this 15 minutes. Well, I learned later that night when Will got horribly sick and I was taking care of him because he was spending the night with us, that I really should have listened to him and not made him go on that hayride. I wish I had pictures from the time I walked down on Ethan and Will watching Star Wars and acting out every single scene, even the Padme having the twins and them delivering the babies. I wish I had that picture to share.
I don't know why this is the one, like, funny Will story that pops into my head, but one time we're visiting Papa at the hospital. I don't even know why he's there. One of his fucking many ailments, pick one. We've been there a couple hours, and we were just, like, feeling bummed, and, like, we're leaving the hospital, and we're not talking or saying anything, because we're just, like, kind of bummed out. And as we're walking out the hospital doors, he stops in place, stares at me, gives me this look, and just goes, that was a weird hotel. And I just fucking lost it. I don't know why. I thought it was the funniest thing. And it was just like solid comedic timing, levity by Will. Kind of put a smile on the face after like a tough situation. Classic Will.
So my favorite memory with Will has got to be this moment right here. This was my 9th grade dance at some like birthday party. And this was a dance in your backyard. And I love these pictures so much because, you know, obviously, look, Will's like almost to my chin now, which is cool. And also, God, I got rid of that stupid haircut. Whose idea was that? I remember vividly, me and Will, during the 9th grade dance, we were talking about Pokemon and our favorite Pokemon and like, you know, video game Pokemon. And then in the dance in your backyard, we were talking about video games again and Pokemon. And so you can just tell not a lot had changed personality-wise, which I think is just really cool. And I hope it's the same years down the road. Will, I think we need to recreate another picture of this. It needs to become a tradition now, like every 4 years.
I remember one time I tried to surprise him by cutting out he had a coloring book that had trading cards in the back of the coloring book, and I cut them out because I thought that it would be fun and we could play with them together, and he just like bawled and wouldn't speak to me all day because he thought that I'd ruined his coloring book.
Will is capable of eating stupidly vast quantities of ice cream. I remember him being really little, and I would put a dish of ice cream in front of him as big as his head. I would turn around for 2 seconds, turn back around, and it would be gone. I have no idea where he put it.
When Will was about to turn 2, we were at a birthday party for his great-grandmother, and the waitress asked him if he wanted vanilla or chocolate ice cream for dessert. And all he said was, no, 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 chocolate!
Because when you were born as the baby of the family, your mom and I decided that you shouldn't reach any of your milestones. We just wanted to keep you a baby forever. And your dad taking you for one of your first Pee-wee sporting events, I forget, soccer, t-ball, and they told everybody to line up, and you were clueless, didn't know what a line was, and I thought that was a sign that we did pretty good keeping you a little baby.
Okay, funny story about Will. One time we were all at the Hubert's house having a good time, and somehow Will convinced me and Gabby to leave our Barbie playing and go and play video games with him. So we played video games with him, and he of course beat us because he was really good, and he got super excited when he beat our asses at this game at Nintendo. And of course Gabby and I were like, well, we didn't know what we were doing, let us try again. So then we tried again, and we actually beat him, and then he had a silent temper tantrum where he would just lay there and not say a word.
And just in general, I think that Will and I, forged a really important alliance against Jason. And it was a great source of strength in those difficult years.
Some of your first words really surprised me. I'll never forget the time we were going to Chuck E. Cheese or somewhere, and you told your dad to shut the damn door.
So my favorite Will moment is probably when we were walking around Gainesville a few years back. There's trash everywhere. And suddenly he just says, "What is this, Trash City or something?" We were laughing about that for the rest of the night.
Here's my friend. I can't believe we're doing that. It's great. This is so...
Okay, one time Jason and I came to visit because we were going to a wedding, one of his friends' weddings, and Will offered to drive us to the wedding, and he had just gotten his cool new car, and he was really excited about it, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing a suit, but I still imagine him wearing a suit and like pulling up, opening the door for me. He was so legit and so excited, and even though there were 3 seats to sit in the front, I made Jason sit in the back, and Will and I sat in the front and bonded about his new car, and it was so fun.
So my favorite Will story is when it was the first night I ever spent the night at your guys' house. So we go upstairs and we're about to play Guitar Hero, and I've never played Guitar Hero with a family before. This is gonna be pretty interesting. And I just remember we're all getting set, and Will comes up in like his Japanese Dragon Ball Z outfit and just rocks it on the microphone.
Naruto,
and I was
I know
actually
Will.
shocked at how good he was, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be awesome. Let's keep going, and that just set the tone for the night. That's my favorite Will.
You went all night
I think my favorite thing about Will is the way his eyes light up and he gets so excited about some new interest in TV or a movie or video games or comic book or just anything. And he gets so excited and he wants to come tell you all about it and just goes into great detail about the whole thing, and you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, and you have no idea what he's talking about, but I mean, it's just so cool because he's excited about it. And what it is it's like, it's contagious, and so whatever he's excited about, you get excited for too, even though you don't fully understand what it is. But Will, I really hope that you keep that same enthusiasm about anything you get excited about in life. And I want to hear about all the things that you get excited about in college. And even if I don't fully understand them, I want to hear about them and just see your excitement about it.
And my other favorite memory, I hope your mom has photo to insert here, is of one of your temper tantrums. They were the funniest things I'd ever seen. Didn't make a sound. You just silently laid yourself on the floor, and I just had never seen anything like it, but it just showed me how endearing and sweet-natured you are, and I hope you keep that quality forever.
So power of an enemy stand, is that what you just said?
Inner-directed and self-motivated.
Tender-hearted.
Hard worker.
Friend.
I have a list. I wrote down dork, dweeb, doofus, lazy, tryhard, squills, dubhub, smash king, sweet, caring, and giraffeopotamus. He'll know what that means.
Well, he's just a sweetheart, and that would be the one word I would use to describe Will. Sweet. He's just a sweetheart. I love you, Will. Congratulations.
In one word, is my best friend in the entire world without any spaces between those words.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I think one word that describes Will has got to be unique. I think ever since he was little, he has always just marched to the beat of his own drum. Whether that's, having a love for the My Little Pony shows and going through wearing a bunch of t-shirts that nobody gets the reference to. He has just always been himself and proud of it, and it's just been really cool to see. I think especially having siblings like Jason and Gabby, where they're such loud personalities. Sometimes I feel like even the youngest sibling can kind of get lost in that, but he has always just made a statement like, this is me, and, I'm just going to be myself, and, you can either love it or hate it, and we obviously love it.
An old hair whore and an old hair whore is very good meat in length. But a hair that is whore is too much for a score when a whore's errand be spent. Young Romeo, will you come to your father? Dinner. I will follow you.
decidedly a Hubert?
Tenderhearted.
Funny.
Unique.
Entertaining.
Will, in a word, is definitely a baby because he was the baby of the family and we never wanted him to grow up, and I still think that he's 8 years old, even though I know he's 18.
One word with a hyphen is Dorwy Fuzzy Squilubitopotamus. So if you just put that at the bottom.
Willie Williams.
Will, in one word, is sarcastic.
Helpful.
Billy Williams.
If I had to describe Will in one word, right? It's one word. It's gotta be epic. Period. I see if there's a lesson to be learned from Will. I can't think of one, actually.
All right, the 4 things that I've learned from young Wilhelm. Number 1, if no one else is going to laugh at your jokes, you just need to laugh loud enough to drown everybody else out. I've taken that one to heart.
What have I learned from Will? I learned not to sweat the small stuff.
I can't say there's a thing I've learned specifically.
No, it's dribbling pathetically. This is not what I wanted.
It needs air.
Something I've learned from Will is that he has very clear boundaries. He absolutely knows where his boundaries are, and nobody can budge him on them. I remember when he was really little and he would have birthday parties, and he'd be having so much fun playing capture the flag until the second he was too overheated, and then the party was over and it was time to go inside. And no one could convince him otherwise. Or when we'd be like playing and roughhousing a little bit, and there'd just be that moment when we'd be like, found the boundary, and then he was done. I remember that it drove me absolutely crazy when he was a kid, because he would do stuff that pissed me off. Like, he had this giraffe named Fluffy, and I thought that was ridiculous because giraffes aren't fluffy. But he didn't give a shit. And he didn't give a shit that I was mad that his knee didn't look like him, like on the Wii games. And even today, you know, I think he really has stood up for himself as far as what he sees in his future and, you know, what kind of things he enjoys. And that's something I've definitely learned from him and respect about him.
Because I don't see him as you know, there's a lesson be learned. There's not something I've specifically learned from Will.
Number 2, you don't need hair gel if you just don't shower. Your hair will just solidify in that shape. It's kind of genius if you think about it.
But, as for a lesson,
What have I learned from Will? Ask Charlie.
I swear to God, I'm gonna use a giant sand barrel. Jackson.
Yes.
Say something. What do you kids want?
You pull left and you see? Oh, yeah, there's drive-through. Okay, so
He knows how to pull in.
A lot about manga and anime and a lot of Japanese characters I can't say the names of. I also had the great opportunity to learn how to make cosplay costumes for him and his friends.
I don't know that I've done a great job of learning this from Will, but he is a champion at being super chill and not letting things get to him. He, from the time he was very little, would sleep with his arms behind his head like this, both arms. He would even bring us a diaper when he was ready to be changed, which I'm sure had nothing to do with neglect, and lay down on the ground and put his hands behind his head and just wait and just chill out. He is a very relaxed guy.
Number 3, if you hide upstairs long enough, everyone will forget you're up there and you can do whatever you want. There's no chance of mom and dad coming up those stairs. It's not going to happen. Will figured that out. A lot of people don't give him credit for that.
What I learned from Will is it's okay to be Will.
And number 4, don't take life too seriously. Will sure as hell doesn't. It's gotten him where he is today. Whatever that is.
Really intrigued by when it comes to you is the fact that you are constantly morphing your life. You're constantly re-examining your interests, which are many, and I don't think you've yet truly defined who Will's going to be at 68 years old, like your grandparents.
Am I right, fellas?
Of you is an eye roll, which she says, "Oh, Papa, come on."
Go whenever.
Okay, my impression of Will?
I'm coming!
In its earliest stages, Smash Bros. Was essentially the after-work hobby project of Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of the Kirby series, and Satoru Iwata, yes, that Iwata, the guy who's now Nintendo's banana-contemplating president. Keep staring, buddy. Maybe the answer to what will make the Wii U sell is in there somewhere. Sakurai would design the game after work, then send his ideas to Iwata, who programmed the game himself. Slowly but surely, over the span of many months, a primitive version of Smash Bros. Began to come together. So that's kind of your short history. If you could just... Did you say something, Will?
Really, Mom? Really?
Buddy.
My impression of Will is any picture of me when I was 18.
Cool.
I have no idea.
The owner of Lamborghini first drove a Ferrari when he started the company, but the car had a constant nagging clutch problem, which frustrated him to the extent making him manufacture cars instead of tractors. Cool. Well, I was just asking if you've seen Dad.
Will who?
I'm so happy for you, Will. I think that this is such an exciting time in your life, and just I'm so over the moon excited about you getting into college and becoming a Spartan. I hope that you still take the time to teach me new ways to beat Zach in Super Smash. Promise. And I can't wait to hear about all the crazy, fun college stories you come back with. Okay? We love you. Yay!
And don't forget everything I taught you. We hate Illinois Nazis. There is no dragon of the North Sea. America, fuck yeah.
Hello, William. Congratulations on being a high school graduate. I know that's quite an achievement in your family. I got a few words of advice as you head off to college, the big city of Greensboro, things that'll keep you from making the same mistakes that your brother made. Remember, when you're angry, count to 10. When you're really angry, count to 11. And when you want to prove you're smarter than your brother, Jason, count to 50. Other than that, these are really important things. I actually wrote them down. First, never date a blonde. You can look at them, but don't date them. Secondly, underwear, overrated. Socks, overrated. You don't need either one. Don't wear them. And stay away from stripes. Remember, if it's a lie and you believe it, it's true.
That's right.
Secondly, if you smoke, smoke the Dominicans. If you drink, drink scotch. And if you're out of scotch, go with the Golden Bullet. Remind yourself every day you're the coolest cat in whatever room you're in, unless I'm in the room. Then you're the second coolest cat. Finally, may the force be with you. We love you.
I love you.
So as you go off to college, I'm really hoping that you pace yourself so well through every other grade that you'll be able to do all of your homework way ahead of time for the rest of your life. William, it's only fitting that you were the last child that we would have. Sure, maybe Jason's taller and better looking, and maybe Gabby's smarter and motivated, but you were different from both of them, and in a completely beautiful way. I had to be a different parent, a different father, a different person. I had to learn a lot of patience to accept your growth and the person you turned into. And it turns out you were the best person of them all. And I'm super proud of you. And as I think Highlander said it best when it said, there can be only one, and you are the best.
Well, that's all I have for now. Love you, Will. Congratulations. Have an amazing time at UNCG, and I can't wait to get home and see you. Love you.
I think Will be successful in anything he attempts, and he will have a good life and a good family, be a good family man. I love you, buddy.
Happy graduation, Will! Good luck at college. We know you're gonna kill it. And thank you for moving on so quickly. For being a good friend. And for being a very good friend.
Conjure thee by Rosalind's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh. Jason lied, that thou shalt appear to us.
I just want to be a part of your video, man. Congrats on graduating. I can't wait to see you soon.
Hey, Will, we want to make sure we were in your video too. Happy grad day.
Yeah, Ethan's not the only Moore who gets his face on your graduation video. Yay, UNCG!
All right.
Hey, Will. Mostly, I just want you to know how much I love you. And I think that you are one of the most special, great guys that I know. I'm really, really proud of you, and I'm really, really excited that you're going to be going to UNCG, and that you'll be so close, and you can come see us and hang out, do laundry, just come over and chill out anytime you want. Anything you need, you just give us a call. You are such a good friend to Charlie, and that means so much. And you're a good friend to me, and I really appreciate it. We've had some really good times together. We've done some really special things. You're my concert buddy, my gin rummy buddy, and I just want you to know how much I love you. And you're going to do great. You're going to do great at UNCG, and you're going to have a wonderful time.
Will, congratulations on the incredible achievement of graduating from high school. I wanted to tell you that I am really proud to have known you and happy to have been your teacher for a time. I am excited to see the things that you are going to do in your future. I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be spectacular and strange and just an absolute joy to watch. You were amazing while you were here and just always so uniquely you. And I love that that is a quality that you have not lost as the years have gone on. I am really lucky to have known you and your family, and I am looking forward to continuing to know you guys and see what you do with your future. So congratulations, live it up, enjoy yourself, have fun, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
You are just the sweetest, most special thing to me in the world. You're such an amazing person, and I'm really, really proud to be your mom. Go make it the best life ever.
us, but he's probably wearing his like internet shirt, you know, and.
Was that the joke? That was the joke you wanted to re-record for?
I love his internet shirt. Let's say it.
Oh my goodness, this has been the most frustrating thing to do.
Let me turn this damn thing around. How do you do this? All right. When I look at it, I see, oh, forget it.
And we're all, you know, having a good time. And I remember I came late after. How about I tell the damn story?
And wait, can I start over?
Oops, this is turning the wrong direction. Let's see. William, my darling William, the best way to describe, I find to describe you is by the sofa.
Go ahead. Okay, one word to describe Will. I have two. Go ahead.
What is the question?
And in the immortal words of my favorite boy band, you're on a mission from Dad.
You were about in diapers still, maybe 2 o'clock, 2 years old.